For University.
Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977. Now, here's D Squared.
Welcome, everyone, to the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. I am D Squared, Drew DeArmond, and we are getting underway here. And we are going to have a guest right off the jump because they are being honored by our sister station, ESPN 97.7 The Zone. And we want to thank our great friends, Bryant Bank, because without Bryant Bank's support, we would not have ESPN 97.7 The Zone. We would not have, this streaming channel, the Blitz Sports Radio. We are growing in North Alabama every day. And with their support of high school athletics, we truly appreciate it. And what all they've done for us and what they've done for high school athletics. I have a passion for high school athletics. I've always had one. It's always been, to me, the best part of sports, that and watching young men and young people compete on the collegiate level. Certainly, pro sports have its place, but I think the most pure level of it is high school. It's so great to watch kids from your community strive for excellence, to perform very well on a big stage, to make the playoffs, to represent your community with class and integrity. And certainly our next guest is in his 6th season with the Huntsville Crimson Panthers. They are headed to the 7A playoffs. They are playing their best football of the season at the perfect time. They are hot going in. They have a huge challenge coming up on Friday in Alabaster against a very talented Thompson Warrior team, but they're playing very good football. You've heard them on our airwaves before. We certainly have followed their program very closely for many, many years. I'm a graduate of the school, very proud of this program and proud of what they've accomplished, and their head football coach and one of the best administrators in the city of Huntsville as well is going to join us for our first few minutes of our show today and talk about the team this year and their accomplishments. And they've done it. It's not been easy because they've had some injuries. They've lost a great quarterback before this season, but had someone step up in his stead and do an outstanding job. But we are going to we're going to bring Coach Mark Fleetwood into the conversation very shortly on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And we're going to talk some Huntsville High Crimson Panther football with him, and I believe he's now with us. Coach Fleetwood, good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Good morning, Drew.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate the time. We know you're very busy. You also have administrative duties and as well as your football team. But what a run for your squad. I know there were some expectations going into this year. You returned a lot of talent, but yet you lose someone like Stone Wallace. I'm very unfortunate for as far as football goes with his shoulder. I know he has a bright baseball future. But Jax McClung, a young man that you brought up through your program, who really until the varsity never lost a game for you, stepped into his stead, and you guys playing great football down the stretch of October at the perfect time for this team. What a performance at Austin to first of all get into the playoffs and then continue the momentum against Hazel Green. Talk about the growth of this squad and going into this year and the improvement that you've seen, Coach.
Yeah, well, I just, we knew last year going, we were young and we were building and growing, trying to, you win games with seniors and experience a lot of times. And so we had, the last 2 years had been a young football team. The year before we only had like 5 seniors that ended up playing. And so as we go into this year, of course, we, you mentioned Stone gets hurt, but, a lot of times that happens. And so the next guy's got to step up, and Jax has stepped up and done wonderful. And he has grown each week. That's the thing that's really neat to watch from game 1 to game 10, where he is and the growth and just in throwing the ball and managing the offense and just all the different things. There's been growth. And then defensively, we had quite a few guys returning on the defense, and these guys have gotten better each week and stood up to the challenge. We hit a rough patch in the second half against Sparkman, and things didn't go our way. And of course, that's game 8 of the season, and the playoff thing is the window's really closing there. So, of course, going to Austin, we had a big challenge, but the guys were able to come out, put that behind them, have a great week of practice, and we got out of the Austin game with a victory. And offensively probably played our best game of the year that night.
Yeah, I really think so. I mean, I wasn't able to take the game in, Coach, but I certainly watched the highlights and the film and talked to people that were there, and certainly it looked like Jax threw the ball exceptionally well. And I had talked to one of your staff members, and we were just talking about the season. This was about halfway through, and he had been watching film of all the teams in your region, and it was a very tightly contested one. And I had been to see them practice because they were one of our ESPN 97 in the Zone teams of the week presented by Bryant Bank, and that's the Austin Black Bears. He was very impressed with them in the box, thought they were extremely physical. But to see your team play that well, and I know they'd already clinched the region, but still there was talent on that field, and to see the way your squad responded, especially that second half, with everything on the line, and to see how your team performed there, that had to be very gratifying for you and your coaches.
Yeah, and it was, if you go back, even the week before, if you go back, it was 21-13 at the Sparkman game.
Yes, it was a very competitive
and we
game.
Sort of lost. Yeah, and then you go into the Austin game, and it was the same. The same score. It's 21-14, and it was almost the tale of two different halves. The week before we sort of had something went wrong, and then it just snowballed, and then we opened the second half against Austin. And we returned the kickoff for a touchdown. Huck does, and then all of a sudden, everything goes our way. So it was neat to see that our guys were able to put the week before behind them and stay focused and come out and play as good a half of football as we've played since I've been here.
Yeah, and I was really happy for Huck because I know he had a fumbled punt against Sparkman. He didn't play as well as he'd like to, but he certainly played great football against Austin. That kickoff return was monumental, and then he made an outstanding touchdown catch in the game as well, Coach.
Yeah, he did. He made a couple, and of course, Jax threw the ball that night probably as well as he threw it all year. And Carlin, just the whole matchup of us, with our throwing game, with our run blocking, pass protection, us getting the ball out of our hand quick, short, being able to throw the deep ball, and of course Cam White made some really big plays also. So, that's just to see the guys put the week before behind them and come out and execute the way they did. It was. It's a neat feeling to see your team grow like that.
And it's really neat because a lot of these guys are still juniors. I mean, Amari Jabbar made a big play. I love that kid. I love the way he competes. He's a multi-sport kid at Huntsville High. Also plays for Christian Swears and the basketball program. But again, you've got a lot of weapons on this team. It's a neat offense to watch. And when they all start coming together and clicking, this is exactly what they did in that second half against Austin. It was neat to see. And then to carry it over. And again, Hazel Green, a playoff program of their own. But to go on the road and play that well against them, to continue this hot play going into the playoffs had to be, gratifying to see this past Friday. Right.
Well, I think both teams went into that last game with the idea that you need some momentum going into the playoffs. And that's what I was proud of, is that we didn't have a letdown, and we continued where we were going, because you surely need all of it going in, against this group that we're getting ready to play.
This is a tough challenge. We know you're very familiar with the state of Alabama. You've coached high school and college football in our state. Of course, you were at Jacksonville State. You were at Troy. You've coached high school football in the state of Alabama, so you know the challenge with Mark Freeman and his group coming up. But your team's playing exceptionally well. I have to believe there's a lot of energy in practice this week and a big-time opportunity to take yourself to Birmingham, to Alabaster, and to play against a program of this caliber. This is the three-time defending 7A champion, Coach.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, that's what this is all about, and so we have had a good week of practice, and of course I'm excited for our guys to go and compete against these guys, and it's like you said, I guess there's three-time. They've been in it probably in the last 5 or 6 years. They've been in it quite a few times. So, it's what a challenge that we got. And I think the thing for us is as you get to this point in the season, you've been practicing a bunch, is to make sure that your practices are really crisp, and that that you show up there Friday night and you're ready to go.
And certainly you want to be healthy, Coach. That's another thing that you can't control, but you certainly want to have your guys available. How healthy is your squad? Because, again, it is a grind, a 10-game run. We were with you last year during it. It's very taxing. You got to have some depth. But how healthy are you guys heading into this challenge going on the road?
We're in good shape. I've been really proud, but I think that's a testament to our weight program in the off season. And we try to maintain during the season, and so I think that's sort of Coach Hancock who heads up our weight room in the off season and during the season. I think it's a tribute to that. Is our kids are strong, and our kids are the flexibility and all of those things that we work on during the year pays off for you.
No question.
And the conditioning in the summer, you get ready to start after you go all summer pretty hard, and then you've got, it can end up being you're out there 15, 18, 20 weeks. So it is a grind. So being in shape and doing the right things as we go are really important. And so that's what I'm proud of. We go down there in pretty good shape, in real good shape as far as injury.
Well, and two, the thing that I had a chance to see you guys a couple of times this year. We are also doing Randolph Raider football, and I've been honored to do that. But I still tried to catch Huntsville when I could, when the schedule permitted me to. And I saw you guys get a huge win on the road at Madison City School Stadium at Bob Jones. And it was a heartbreaking game the year before. This time, Huntsville makes the plays. The thing that struck me about your team, and we talked about with you last year during the journey, was growing, maturing, getting better, is I thought your front seven, your defensive line, your linebackers, as far as stopping an explosive running game, we know how good Ray Hardy is. Bob Jones is going to the playoffs in their own right, and I think has played as difficult the schedule as anyone. I thought you guys, from a front seven perspective, had made a lot of growth defensively this year, Coach.
Yeah, I do too. I was really proud of those guys, and it all started with Tyree Kenton and Billy Roby and Cam McCroskey on the inside, and then Mike Adams and Todd Whitmire at the ends. And those guys sort of leading the charge there defensively. And then our linebackers, Jarrell Goodlow has had as good a year at linebacker as anybody since I've been here. And Malik Woods was our Mike linebacker. And then Clemens Langford has been our Sam linebacker. And Clemens had played wide receiver until this year. Mm-hmm, and now he's moved in at Sam. And then he's had a backup, Jody Drake, that has also played with him there. But those three positions are probably our most improved positions on our entire football team. And it's dressed up to where, as far as, and you know this as well as I do, if you can't stop the run, it's hard to stop anything.
Certainly is. That's going to be a huge key on Friday too, Coach.
Yes. And so that's the thing that, that you get that you got to go into these games, and of course a year ago we were struggling a little bit, but it's because we were young, and these guys have grown up and have done a great job in the run game defensively for us. So I'm really proud of the way those guys have grown, and it just gotten better, and they've gotten better each week. And the challenge, we've played some, like you said, some really good teams during the year. So we'll take all of that and take this into Game 11 going down there with this challenge. And I'm excited to go down there.
Yeah, well, I think we're all excited to see how 7A Region 4 does this year. Certainly, I know that Thompson had a lot of personnel losses, quarterback, some skill guys offensively that were very, very good players. They're a little bit different this year, Coach. Still very physically, though, very talented defensively. What sticks out to you? What does Huntsville High need to do to have a shot to win this game and then this playoff game, which would be a huge win for the program and to compete against Thompson High School on Friday night?
Well, I think the ball control for us and keeping our offense on the field, I think is important in this game. And being able to run the ball and not let them move at will with what they do, and that they've been able to do that a little bit, not as, like you said, not as easy this year as they have in the past. But they still, there's not any tricks with what they do. They do, and they do it well. And their challenge to you is, hey, you know what we're going to do? Can you stop it? And so, that I think for us to go down and then go back to all the things that have been true in the game of football, turnovers and big plays, making them and not giving them up, and then, not turning and not putting yourself behind the chains on first down with the middle penalties and those things. And so hopefully going into game 11, we've got all that cleaned up, and we have really improved on that the last couple of games. So if we can take that into this game and follow that little mindset there of playing sound football, then I think that's what we're going to have to do. It's nothing fancy, but it's going to be, we're going to be challenged at the best at each position, and just put our mindset together there to play good, clean football and make some plays.
Yeah, and then when you have a chance, and I know when we talked with you before the season, one of the besides the linebackers who you just talked about, you were much happier with your numbers and the ability there at the linebacker spot. But another area of your team that I know you were excited about, the improvement that you had seen from the spring to the summer and into the season. In this game, the difference in it could be special teams. We saw Huck with a kickoff return against Austin. So he and Amari Jabbar, if you have a chance to make a play in the kicking game, you got to make it. And then I know place kicking, snapping, I know that was something that you thought you saw a lot of improvement in going into this year and have seen it in the season. Yeah,
well, that's so important. And when we've got a great long snapper, John Conley.
Yes.
And he has improved over the last year just in leaps and bounds. So, having that guy, having Sims, Bowman handles our field goals and our extra points and our punting. And so, having those guys, and they're a year older, and Sims has done a very good job. The other night we didn't have to kick a field goal, but we kicked, I think, 9 extra points. He was 9 for 9, and he had a couple of kickoffs in the end zone. And it's stuff like that in these games that you've got to be able to be at your best when you play a team like this. And I have a lot of confidence in those guys will be at their best Friday night.
I think everybody's excited about it. And then you got to be happy for these seniors as well, Coach. Last year was rough. The season could have gone much differently with a play here or there. It was a handful of plays that could have meant, the difference between 3 wins and 7 wins because there were so many tightly contested battles in the region. But to turn it around this year, to win 6 games, to really have been a play away from winning 7, you have to be happy for this senior class and these kids and a very talented junior group. A lot of these guys will be returning, but you have to be excited for the progress this season.
Yeah, listen, the seniors, if you go back to their ninth grade year, they won 0 ninth grade games.
Wow.
And to see the development of these young guys over the last 4 years. Now, we had some guys, their ninth grade team was a little bit diluted in this way. A couple of those guys, Roe Hardy and Cam White, were between the varsity and the ninth grade. So we were, some of those guys weren't on the team at that time, but still, to go through and to watch these guys grow from their ninth grade year, which was a struggle, to their 10th grade year, and to their junior, now to their senior year, it's unbelievable what these guys have accomplished. And I'm really proud of those guys. And Seth Lawson and Alex Gray, 2 of our offensive linemen, have sort of led the way there. And then defensive linemen, and Jorge Rosales is another offensive lineman, senior offensive lineman. And then you've got Todd Whitmire and Mike Adams and Billy Roby. And just to see those guys grow like they have and to not look back and to continue to get better, it's really neat. That's what it's all about.
It really is. It's about these kids progressing and getting better, and certainly they've done that this year. very excited to see what they can accomplish on Friday night in Alabaster. And, Coach, as we wrapping it up with you, what does it mean to your program? This year, Bryant Bank upping the ante even more. They've committed to, for us, we've been very blessed to have the relationship with them. They've been donating $500 to programs throughout the season. What does it mean to your program to be recognized by Bryant Bank and to be awarded $500 from them for the team of the week and your team to going on having a season like this?
The support they do for all the high schools in this area is really neat, and it does a lot because there's a lot of good football teams around here, and to be recognized by them for one of the weeks as being the team of the week, that's big stuff. And you know as well as I do, $500 in a high school booster club goes a long ways. So we're honored to be selected as the team of the week, and appreciate what Kenny Watson and Bryant Bank does, because they truly care about the community, and that's a neat deal.
It really is, and we look forward to coming out tomorrow, Coach. Before you guys walk through, we certainly don't want to disrupt your preparation for this unbelievable opportunity for your squad, but we certainly want to be able to present your squad with the check from Bryant Bank and to honor your young men and to give them the proper recognition for what they've accomplished. And we look forward to being out there on the great campus at Huntsville High and honoring you and your program. We appreciate it. I know you're very busy. You have administrative duties as well at Huntsville High, but thank you for once again being generous with us and joining the Recruiting Blitz this morning on 97.7 The Zone and on the Blitz Sports Radio. But we appreciate it, Coach, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and thank you for your time today.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate y'all and Bryant Bank, and go Big Red.
Yes, sir. Go Big Red. We appreciate that. The head football coach of the Huntsville Crimson Panthers, sixth-year head coach, Mark Fleetwood, who has done an outstanding job getting this team to the playoffs, and now they have a chance to play against one of the best programs in the state of Alabama and even in the country, in the Thompson Warriors. And what an opportunity for Huntsville High football, and a big shout-out to them for playing their best football down the stretch against the Austin Black Bears and Jeremy Perkins, a very good team, and then performing very well against Charlie Wilburn's Hazel Green Trojans, a former team of the week, but presented by our sister station, ESPN 97.7 The Zone, and our friends from Bryant Bank. But this is the Blitz Sports Radio. I am D Squared. We appreciate Coach Mark Fleetwood for joining us, and we wanted to honor Huntsville High and give him a chance to talk about this great squad and what they've done. Scott Tyson and I and Bryant Bank will be out there tomorrow to honor these young men. So we look forward to being out there, and we look forward to talking some high school basketball also today with Howard Pride back in our community. Speaking of great athletes, speaking of someone that was in his own right a great football player, a all-city, all-state wide receiver for the Butler Rebels, someone that was also all-state in basketball and a Mr. Basketball honoree, played at Vanderbilt University, also was drafted in baseball playing for Butler. So one of the most decorated athletes in our city's history, and an outstanding basketball coach as well. He's starting his second stint at the helm of the Mae Jemison Jaguars, and we're going to talk to him when we come back on the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. I'm D Squared. Stay with us.
The Blitz has been called.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Look out in the street there. You know what you don't see? My car, because I had to sell it to pay the lawyer I hired when I got busted for drunk driving. You know what else you don't see? My girlfriend, who decided that a guy with no car and no license and no money was no fun. And hey, you know what else you don't see? You don't see me leaving for work in the morning, because I missed so much time with court and everything that I got fired.
Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Welcome back to ESPN 97.7 The Zone and the Blitz Sports Radio. I'm Drew DeArmond. Please continue to support both of our stations. Our sister station, 97.7 The Zone. Please download that app at the Google Store, at the Apple Store, and support us. We are the home for local programming in the state of Alabama. And the Blitz Sports Radio, that is our streaming station. We have been, almost for 3 months now on the air. Please continue to support the Blitz Sports Radio. Download our app from the Google Store, from the Apple Store, and continue to support the Blitz Sports Radio because, again, we are so proud to bring you so much local programming. We really appreciate the time from Coach Mark Fleetwood, the head football coach of the Huntsville Crimson Panthers. He's done a great job this year with that group, getting them to the playoffs, and they are our reigning now ESPN 97.7 The Zone and Bryant Bank Team of the Week. But again, remember, we're going to have a lot of high school football playoff coverage on both on the Blitz and on ESPN 97.7 The Zone on Friday night. When you think about it, because again, we're going to bring you on our main channel on 97.7 The Zone, the Buckhorn Bucks traveling to the Hartselle Tigers, and then on Stream 2, our Zone 2, you're going to have the Madison Academy Mustangs hosting the Phil Campbell Bobcats, and on Zone 3, it'll be myself and Austin Coletti bringing you David Lloyd and the Randolph Raiders, as they will be able to. They're going to host the Rogers Pirates in first-round action. And remember, the Huntsville, they're the high school football scoreboard show, that is presented by Woody Anderson Ford, hosted by Scott Tyson, And, of course, you'll have Bandyman helping out, the Captain Cool, John Abraham, all those guys helping him with the scores. But and they will have coaches' reaction. They will have I will come back with my report from the first round game. We'll have that live. But it will start at 8:30 p.m. here on the Blitz Sports Radio, and then switch over to our sister station on our main feed, ESPN 97.7 The Zone. So we're going to have blowout first-round playoff coverage on ESPN 97.7 The Zone and on the Blitz Sports Radio. And so we're waiting on to hear from Coach Howard Pride. He's going to call in. We'll be talking with him shortly. Again, we will have him on the show and talk some Mae Jemison Jaguars basketball. He had a 2-year run there and did an outstanding job winning the Huntsville City Classic on back-to-back seasons and getting his team to number 1 in the state of Alabama before spending some time in the state of Tennessee coaching now at Stewart's Creek. And now he has come back to his native Huntsville and is taking over the program of the Mae Jemison Jaguars for the second time. We are ecstatic to have him back in our city because, again, he's made of the right things. His family has meant a lot to the fabric of our great city in basketball because we consider ourselves the hub of basketball in the state of Alabama and in the North Alabama area. And, of course, having him back amongst us and taking over this Mae Jemison program does nothing but energize our city and energize basketball in North Alabama. And we of course, are very blessed to have a good relationship with him. I was very blessed to watch him compete in high school and come up. And as I told you guys, he was one of the great 3-sport athletes, really 4-sport athletes in our city's history, and went on to become a very good guard at Vanderbilt for some really good teams in the Southeastern Conference, and then came back and decided to go into coaching. And he's had nothing but success since that time, coaching the Decatur Red Raiders to the state finals, coaching for a season at Westminster, helping Danny Petty with the James Clemens Jets, and now building on his head coaching career once again, and with his second stint, and hopefully going to take Mae Jemison to another state championship. And he will start that process this year. They will be on the road at Columbia on Friday, and we wanted to bring Coach Howard Pride into the conversation for a few minutes here on the Recruiting Blitz this morning. Coach, it's always an honor to speak with you. It was good to see you last week. How are you this morning, sir?
Hey, good morning, and thanks for having me on this morning. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Reception wasn't great in the building, so hopefully you guys can hear me. But as always, I'm very blessed and honored to be a part of your program, be a part of your show. Thanks for having me on, and I'm excited to be back at Mae Jemison High School, back home, close to home. A lot of great things going on in and around this North Huntsville community.
Oh, there is no doubt, and we're so happy to have you back. I know I got a chance to extensively talk to you when you were at Supreme Courts in Guntersville this summer. You were really excited about your squad. Now, I don't know that it was not so much about results, winning and losing at that time. You were trying to reestablish your culture, reestablish your defensive identity, and get these young kids to buy in, because this was a senior-oriented group last year. We know they lost a lot of talent. So it's going to be a reset. But I know it was one that you were just starting to get your hands dirty and start to mold these young people, and you were excited about, Coach.
Well, that process, it is going to be a process. I like the young men, their parents, and the people that have been in, the coaches that they've had before me have done a good job laying the foundation. And I am getting some very early. We have a very, very young roster this year. We have 4 seniors. 0 had playing time last year on the varsity level. We have 4 sophomores this year, and only 1 played. We have two juniors, 1 that was hurt last year. So out of the 10 guys that I have on the varsity roster, I only have 1 that has any varsity playing experience.
It's got to be, is that the youngest team, or is this the youngest and most inexperienced team you've ever had, Coach? I mean, I know you've been a head coach for several years, and you've also been an assistant in some really good programs. Is this the youngest, most inexperienced squad that you've ever had?
It is the youngest and most inexperienced team that I've had, but we won't use that as an excuse. These young men come to work every day, and I've had them since the summertime. So if they're not ready, that's going to be on me. I will we will show up, and I tell guys every day, I don't see losing in our future. Either we will come out victorious via the scoreboard, or we're going to get some receipts and learn some lessons along the way that's going to help us when the playoff time comes around.
Yeah, it's about being ready for February. We talked about that this summer. No question about it. So it's about molding these young people and getting them better. And you know better than any, having been an athlete in our community and coming up through this city, how good the basketball is. I know you were happy early with the early results in the summer. How did the rest of the summer go for you, Coach? And how have you seen this team grow from the summer through starting school in August and now having practice been underway for several weeks and getting ready for this tip-off on Friday at Columbia?
Well, the biggest difference has been in the young men's bodies. We've changed some bodies, so confidence has grown in the program, the things that we've provided for them. We had some young men that were not as physically fit when we took over the program, and now they're in great shape. I'm going to have a good-looking basketball squad to take the floor. Now, the biggest growth is going to be the mental aspect once we get into the spirit of competition and going back into an area where Jeremy Crutch does a phenomenal job over at Hazel Green. We know the talent that Buckhorn has, and we know Patrick Harden is a great basketball coach. And then let's not be outdone by competing against Lee, our rival, and one of my good friends, Greg Brown, who Lee has won back-to-back state championships. So just night in and night out, we're going to have to be on our A game, and not to mention the non-conference with the In the Hoops. We will play the legendary Stapler in Westminster, who has a phenomenal basketball program. And we play a very talented and well-coached Columbia team to tip off. I tell guys all the time, I will never run from the spirit of competition. We will show up, and we will, night in, night out, if we're not mentally ready to play, then we may get embarrassed, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and I know you told me just last week, as far as the growth of the Columbia program under Justin Johnson, they have as good a 1 through 7 as you've seen. So this is going to be a big challenge going on the road for your young men in Game 1. You certainly will see how much progress they've made since the summer playing against another program like yourself that's growing and that has a lot of kids that went through the fire last year and a lot of talent returning.
Oh, without a doubt. That's what it's all about. Nobody crowns champions in November. These early season lessons, we're going to have to grow up fast. We're going to have to put some people in some positions in some roles that they weren't accustomed to having last year. And so we'll get some film on those things, and then we'll just go back to the drawing board with their new mindset moving forward. And the competition is what wakes me up early, and it keeps me up late.
It certainly is. You always love to compete as an athlete and as a coach. How did you grow in your experience in 2 years at Stewart's Creek over in Tennessee, just over the state line? I know you left us for a couple of years, went over there to coach and help build that program and certainly got them very competitive. How did that help expand your palette and grow you as a coach for your second opportunity here to take this Mae Jemison program back again to among the elite in Alabama?
Well, year number 1, we were in the Rutherford County District, which is a lot like North Huntsville. A lot of phenomenal coaches, a lot of phenomenal great basketball minds, and people in North Alabama is very familiar with the Blackman program and Barry Workman, who does he's kind of like the czar up in that area. So they were in our area and they were in our district. So we played night in and night out. There was great competition. Took a Stewart's Creek program that had one winning season. We had back-to-back winning seasons, and year number 2 came close to winning 20 games. There was a young man by the name of Brandon Miller that people know in Tuscaloosa and the things that he's doing. He was responsible at Cane Ridge for 4 of the losses and the reason why we didn't advance. So, again, spirit of competition, knowing that there was going to be a challenge, growing young men, impacting, and help using basketball as a platform to direct, change young men that are going to be tremendous leaders, tremendous fathers. That's what my calling, and that's what I enjoy. We just do it through the spirit of competition that's called basketball. And so that blueprint of showing up every day, holding young men accountable, working with the community such as Stewart's Creek, working with a community such as North Huntsville, those are things that get me excited, because I know as a competitor, people are going to come and they want to win. And so that didn't change, for me across Tennessee state line, but I knew I would have the opportunity to go against tremendous individual talent such as Brandon Miller, and have tremendous opportunity to go against a guy like Barry Workman every week in and week out.
Yeah, it definitely makes you better competing against the McDonald's All-American like that, and against Barry Wardman, who I've had on the show and on 97.7 The Zone. And what a great program he has built. What a great culture there. Watching them compete many times in the N2 Hoops, win that tournament over at Bob Jones, a great Thanksgiving event. And we were honored to have him bring his squad over to North Alabama and compete, and certainly he's built an amazing program over there. And I know you expect to do the same. You have high expectations in year one, in chapter 2 with you at the helm of Mae Jemison. For our listeners, I know you detailed it a little bit earlier in the conversation, but who are some of the young men to watch that you're excited about with your program? You talked about their physical transformation. We talked a little bit about some of your young talents you were super excited about this summer. But for our listeners here today, as we're revisiting, talk about some of these guys. Who are some of the players to watch that you're super excited about that are going to compete for you on the floor starting Friday at Columbia for the Mae Jemison Jaguars?
Well, I'm excited about every young man in the program, but last year Travell Bone was a sophomore, and he injured himself 4 or 5 games into the season, and he's healthy this year. Phenomenal. He's going to have a big year for us if we're going to be successful. He'll be a junior, and he'll be anchoring the low block. Elijah Macklin, who didn't play at all, 6'6", young man, ton of energy, infectious young man, SGA leader in the school. And then when it comes to the Will Little, 3.9 GPA, a sharpshooter from the outside, we have PJ Williams, extremely athletic, plays extremely hard. There's no rebound is safe with him around. And then you have the sophomore, Jalen Glover, transferred in from Columbia, and that's going to be a big task. He's one that played significant minutes as a freshman. Dakarian Bryant, remember this name?
Yes,
DK.
yes.
The initials DK. This young man has a chance to be special, be the next it. And then Calvin Turney, he's got to grow up at the point this year as a sophomore. And we are excited about the mix, the nucleus, the talent that we have. Also, we have DeLeon Ford and Joseph Cunningham. Joseph was with the program with me as a freshman. He was in Hueytown last year. He was transferred back. He's going to remind you of the guards that I had guarding the basketball, and I'm excited about his energy. So it's a great mix of talent, but more importantly, they're great young men. One of the best selection of young men. We may be inexperienced, but in humility and heart, I wouldn't trade this group for any group.
And I know you have a deep love for basketball in our community and for the Huntsville City, and we certainly are proud to have you back. I mean, when I heard you were going to be approved by the school board and you were going to be back, it did nothing but bring a smile to my face, because certainly we want all the programs here to be strong basketball-wise. We want to continue to bring blue trophies back. We're very proud of our traditions here. We're very proud of the Huntsville City Classic, and I know it's a tournament you won a couple of times at Mae Jemison High School. You're going to be honored to be back competing with that. But talk about the schedule as a whole. I know you talked about your area. It's a very difficult one in 6A, a lot of talent there. You talked about the Buckhorn Bucks. You've talked about some of these squads that you're going to have to face that are very, very talented. You talked about Coach Crutcher, what he's doing at Hazel Green. But I know this was a situation where this schedule was probably nearly done when you got here, but still talk about the challenge and being able to get this team ready for February, which is what your programs have always been about, and that's being ready for the postseason.
Well, the schedule will have me ready for the back end. I like to say there's no nights off, and it keeps kids engaged when you play competition. They're human, and so if they feel like they are more talented, then they're not going to be as focused. And so we will play a really good Gunnersville program home and away. We will play Florence home and away. Oak Mountain, we'll play Oak Mountain this year. And we play in the Into Hoops. We play the Huntsville Classic. Though we play at Madison Academy this year. So there you have it. No nights off.
None at all, and we look forward to seeing the Mae Jemison Jaguars take the court. And remember, everyone, these young men will be taking the court on Friday night. It should be a great crowd over there at Columbia. A lot of support from Mae Jemison. They'll travel well as well. This is a city matchup. Very excited to tip it off like that. I know Justin Johnson's very excited. We talked to him yesterday on Talking Ball, and we've had the honor of talking to Coach Howard Pride today as we're doing our city previews on the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. Coach, it's always great to hear from you. I know you're busy with school as well. We appreciate you taking the time to talk with us for a few minutes and to talk some Mae Jemison Jaguars hoops. We certainly look forward to seeing your team compete, and we're so happy basketball is upon us again and back, and we look forward to seeing you. It's great to have you back on the show and back on our airwaves, but good luck to your squad Friday, and we really appreciate the time this morning.
As always, I consider you guys friends, and I appreciate any time we can get on, talk about Mae Jemison basketball, but more importantly, just talk hoops. Huntsville is a hotbed with tremendous talented young men, great coaches in this area, and I'm just happy to be home and add to the mix and be a part of it.
Oh, we certainly are as well. Thank you, Coach. Enjoy the rest of your morning, but we appreciate the time on the Recruiting Blitz.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's Howard Pride taking some time. We're going to take a break. When we come back, wrapping up this edition of the Recruiting Blitz on this Wednesday on the Blitz Sports Radio. I'm D Squared, Drew DeArmond. Stay with us.
The Blitz has been called.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So you don't have to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Okay, Sarah, I'm dropping you at Emily's, and Josh, you're going to soccer, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, and by the way, when I pick you up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What? No!
Yep, me and my short shorts doing my daddy dance. Your friends will love it.
No!
Well, I might change my mind if you buckle your seatbelts.
Okay, we're buckling up. See, all buckled.
Whatever it takes, keep them safe. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Welcome back. As we're wrapping up this Wednesday edition of the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio, I'm D Squared, Rudy Arman. Big thanks to our two guests, two outstanding high school coaches in our community, and that's what this show is about, giving them a platform. Mark Fleetwood, sixth-year head football coach of the Huntsville Crimson Panthers, as they are headed to the playoffs, and you got a chance to a great opportunity against an outstanding Thompson program from Alabaster. They will be traveling there on Friday night, 7 o'clock. And speaking of Friday night, Howard Pride, his second stint as the head coach of the Mae Jemison Jaguars, he took this program back over. They will be playing Justin Johnson's Columbia Eagles in an all-city matchup. Should be an outstanding game. That will be Friday night. So please go support those young people. And remember that name, Dakari and Bryant. I had a chance to see him. Really impressive physical young man. I'm sure he's made even more strides adding weight. Just a very young player for Mae Jemison. Just a freshman, got a chance to be special, be one of the next Division I guys coming out of our great city. So we're super excited about that. And you know what? We're excited about the future of ESPN 97.7 The Zone and the Blitz Sports Radio. We want you to download the app for both ESPN 97.7 The Zone at the Google Store, at the Apple Store, and we want you to download the app for the Blitz Sports Radio. Same platforms, Google, the Apple Store. Please download both of these apps, ESPN 97.7 The Zone, so you can hear all of our local programming. Scott Tyson and I talking ball from 7 to 9 a.m. Certainly Chad Guathney and Tom Abraham from 10 to noon. And then, of course, as you know, the Afternoon Blitz, and the Afternoon Blitz is on our streaming station on the Blitz Sports Radio, and that is the Bandyman Bailey Lowry and Captain Cool John Abraham from 2 to 4, and then back to 97.7 The Zone from 5 to 7. Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on the drive. So please continue to support all of our local programming. We certainly appreciate it, and we're going to continue to grow it. You can hear this show from 9 to 10 a.m. each Monday through Friday on the Blitz Sports Radio. We bring you recruiting conversation and talks with coaches like this, because that's part of the recruiting process. You hear about these coaches talking about their young men. You heard Mark Fleetwood talking about Jax McClung, the junior quarterback, the junior running back Carlin Long, the junior slot receiver and kick returner Huck Hensley, Amari Jabbar, that senior class that's very special, Jarrell Goodlow, who had such a good year at linebacker. These are all guys, Cam White, who has got a chance to play at Southern Illinois, the wide receiver. He's an outstanding player, no doubt about it. So there's a lot of talent over at Huntsville High, and we wanted to give Coach Fleetwood a chance to talk about that, and Coach Howard Pride for joining us and telling us about this young talent that he is going to mold at Mae Jemison High School. We're really excited about that, and we're really excited about the Recruiting Blitz and continuing to grow it. Again, we're nearly 3 months in, and we're very excited about the future, and we just want to continue to get your support. So, again, continue to support us. We really appreciate it. We're going to be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. with some reaction. Alabama could get some good news later today in football recruiting. If that does come to fruition, we'll have reaction tomorrow. And don't forget the afternoon blitz from 2 to 4, the Bandyman Bailey Lowry and Captain Cool John Abraham. Everybody have a great rest of your